Hi, this screen lecture is about the syllabus for junior biology. To access the syllabus, if you've lost your paper version, go to the General tab on the BioBook Index, scroll down to Resources. When you reach the Resources page, log in, username and password, and then click on Syllabus, which is on the upper left of the screen. This is the syllabus that you received on the first day. My name is Mr. Kensting. My bachelor's degree in college finished in 1983, my master's degree in 91, and I'm many years past that, obviously. I have a teaching certificate that allows me to teach in any Missouri school. I'm certified for grades 7 through 12. My email address is skensting@naringshs.org, and that is probably the best way to get a hold of me, although there is an office phone and a office extension and a voice extension, but you probably won't need those. Your parents probably won't need those. Email is probably the best to get rapid information back and forth. For every day in class, students should all be bringing a text if they have it. If not, bring your laptop because you're using BioBook. Bring your lab sheets if you have them, but there is no lab book, but we do lots of labs. And then make sure you've got a notebook, a pen or pencil, and some kind of a ruler with millimeter markings on it, because we'll do measurements periodically and just randomly for labs, and a paper ruler is just fine, and I'll show you where in class you can print those. This course is basically an introductory course. It's designed for students to continue their science education at NARINX with, biology. So we cover things from biochemistry through genetics, evolution, and ecology. Lab activities will reinforce the topics we're covering in class. At the end of the course, we hope that everybody appreciates the immensity of life on Earth and evolution's contribution to making life as it is today. Understanding how matter and energy exchanges form the foundation of all life processes, how everybody passes genetic information on to the next generation in regular patterns. Understand how living things reproduce and pass characteristics down. How to understand how organisms interact and process matter and energy through communities. And then understand the major community types on Earth and how we have affected them as humans. Students will also be delivering a presentation to their peers in class over a major topic. So, what are tests, quizzes, and exams all about in this class? Well, the tests, you'll get more as we go through the class, but they're matching questions, true, false, short essay, and fill in the blank. There's usually not many multiple choice. There are often diagrams. If there's a fill in the blank and you misspell the word, it's marked as incorrect. Tests are recorded as percentages. If the test is online or the quiz is online, it'll be timed. And if you go past the deadline, the page will automatically submit, and anything you didn't finish will be marked wrong. If you're extended time, obviously you'll be given more time, but there always is some kind of a time limit, and you have to work in that time frame. Life is a timed event. Crossing the street is a timed event. Getting to school on time is a timed event, and you got to get penalized for not finishing under time. So just let me know if you're having problems, and we'll figure out a way to get you better at that. Quizzes are almost every day. Tests will only take place every couple of weeks. At the most you'll get is a test every week and a half, but that's rare. Semester exams are cumulative, and that means that the second semester exam is cumulative over the entire year. Exams count as 20% of the semester grade. You'll see more about that on the grade book when you're looking at it. When you have to calculate things on tests and quizzes, make sure you show your work. If you don't show your work, the whole question will be marked wrong, because it is the work that's actually being graded, not the final answer. Final answer doesn't matter nearly as much as the work. Cell phones on your person are a really bad idea. If you get caught with a cell phone on your person during a quiz or a test, you got a 0 on that, and a major academic honesty violation to boot. So please leave your cell phones off your person. If you have them on your person in class, I'll be telling you to put them in your purses and put them against the walls for tests, so that they don't cause you a problem during the test. If you do very poorly on a test, there are no do-overs. Please come and see me if you're having problems with the tests, and we'll talk about how to get better, or how to better prepare for the test. So I don't drop tests. All test scores are part of the final grade. There are also absolutely no extra credit projects to make up, poor test or quiz or homework or lab scores. That's life. If you botch a presentation, you don't get the job. If it was for a job interview, so you have to be on your best mark when you have to be on your best mark. I'll certainly work with you if you're having problems, but there's no time for do-overs. It's hard enough just to keep up with the pace of the year. Um, at the top of every quiz or test or lab you're giving me, you always need to put your name, your class letter, and the date. If you don't do that, you will lose credit on your tests, on your quizzes, and on your homework. So make sure you always put your name, the class letter, and the date on the top so you don't lose credit. It helps in grading. Teachers get just an onslaught. There's over 100 different students in a typical teacher's schedule, and it's just a constant barrage of paperwork. We need to know what class you're in so we can efficiently, record all of your information. If you have questions during a test, I don't answer questions that much on tests, but I will come around and try to answer them one-on-one. I don't like to interrupt the testing environment very much with questions, and especially if you ask questions like, what do you mean? I will not answer them. If you persist in asking questions about what do you mean, or you create a spectacle in class, you will lose percentage points off of your test, and I'll warn you ahead of time for that. So please, if you have test questions, try to keep them to a minimum. I cannot tell you, obviously, answers to a test while you're taking the test. I could do that before the test takes place, but not during the test. Your grade is based on your total points. You're basically accumulating points. Quizzes are just points. Labs are points. Homework is points. Tests count as percentages, but they're thrown in. Every test counts as 100 points. But while a test might have 30 actual questions on it, and each question will be worth 3.3 points, the percentage is what gets recorded in my grade book, and that percentage then counts as a total points value. You'll learn more as we go through the class, and you'll see your grades in the grade book. The grading scale is 90s or A's, 80s or B's, 70s or C's, 60s or D's, and below 60 is failing. If you miss a day, try looking at a screen lecture, look at the bulletin board. The first day back, you're technically supposed to have your stuff done, but if you come and see me about it, I can work something out with you. If you fail to make things up in a timely fashion, you will get zeros on them. I don't do massive makeups on the last day of the quarter. For people that missed stuff a month earlier, it's a zero. If you go much past a few days, it's probably going to end up being a zero unless you've worked something out with me. If we have a snow day, I'll put on the bulletin board to listen to the screen lecture for the unit, and we'll just move forward. I mean, you don't have to be in class anymore. More and more, we have the flipped classroom where you listen to the lectures at home and you do homework and answer questions that you in the past would have done at home. You do that during the class time where your teacher can help you. So I will take advantage of those snow days as flipped classroom days by all means. If you need help, definitely see me during contact or after school, and I'll help you. If it's regarding missed work or something you don't understand, we'll get it figured out. If you miss something, make sure you coordinate with me so we can figure out how to get that made up in a timely fashion. Next, labs. You're going to work on labs in pairs, but you'll be turning in your lab sheets individually. If you copy your lab sheets from your partner and it's an obvious copy job, you and your partner will end up with a zero. Yes, you're going to work together. Does that mean you can turn in the same report? No. Just because two people work together in an English class, it doesn't mean they turn in the exact same English paper. Same thing is true in science. Do not copy from your partner when turning in a report, or it'll be copied, it'll be counted as a zero, and lab reports are very point heavy in the class. Some of them are worth more than 50 points. And so getting a zero on that would be a serious damage to a grade. So anytime you're turning in a homework and it's multiple pages, make sure you staple it. Make sure you put your name, the class letter, and the date on the top so you don't lose for having that information at the top. There are going to be big assignments due throughout the year. There'll be plenty of notice ahead of time. And I will warn you that the assignments are due at the start of class. If you don't have that, if that assignment's due at the start of class and you don't have it in at the start of class, I certainly don't want you working on it during class. Automatically, the assignment is late. You'll be docked up to 5 points for turning it in 5 minutes late in class. So when you walk into class when something's due, I'll give you a couple minutes to get that thing out of your backpack and get it to me. But if you wait past the cutoff point at the start of class, that's it. When I put the papers into my binder, no more lates, or no more lates without penalty. I'll still take assignments late, but there's generally a 5-point deduction per day late. And you will get a deduction for turning stuff in late, even if it's late during that class. Um, the most of the resources you're going to use in biology can be found on BioBook. All the paperwork that will be done are used in the classes all on BioBook. BioBook can be found at biobook.kensting.org, or it can be found at, I'll go back to the link here. It can also be found at www.biobook.info. Will lead you to the same site. Basically, please see me if you need help. Please ask for help when you need it in the lab. And by the way, there is a class participation grade assigned each quarter, and I keep track of class participation. If you're talking during class and interrupting, I will be deducting grades, and you will watch your grade fall in your BioBook gradebook. If you're contributing to class and you're answering questions, I'll give you plus points. So there are students that will end up with 35 out of 25 at the end of the quarter, and there will students that will end up with 10 out of 25 at the end of the quarter for their class participation grades. It all depends on if you get caught with your cell phone in class and you're using it, automatic 10-point deduction on your class participation grade. I will encourage you to use your cell phones at some point, but if you're caught using your cell phone when you're not supposed to have them out, 10-point deduction. So you'll automatically, that'll drop you to a 15 out of 25. So that gives, and by the way, when I record these events that are going on in class, the date and the time and everything's recorded. And that way, if I ever have to bring up that, well, you've disrupted the class 15 times, or you've answered very great questions 15 times, there's a complete record of when this happened and how often this happened throughout the quarter. Here's the topics. You can also find these on your BioBook index. All the topics are listed out by quarter underneath the information tab for each course. And the syllabus here that you see here is only a guide, and it can change, but I'll usually notify you in class when it changes. So if you forget what your topics are that are coming, if you go to your study sheets, there are all your topics. They're all listed here in order. And if there are ever any changes to that, I would announce that ahead of time. Anyway, if you have questions on your syllabus, please ask in class, but you will get a quiz on this, so make sure you read the syllabus, because I did skip a few of the minor things, and then come to class and ask questions about it so that you don't miss those things when you take the quiz. See you in class.